tremendous and shift effects on working culture in India for sure post pandemic. Um, People have realized wonderful opportunity in being productive along with maintaining their work life balances. They enjoy working more when they are working remotely. Um, Organizations have realized a true power of people when they see that they can be double productive and they can be happy, also mentally peaceful as well. Culture has become one of the most prominent thing in the organization nowadays. It was earlier though. However, culture was seen practically happening when we were in office. I think in remote, what has happened is it has been inculcated into each and everyone in the organization. I think that has profoundly changed. Mm, Diversity and inclusivity is something which I think has a big shift post pandemic. There are no barriers to gender. There are no barriers to region, caste, anybody, and especially in India, there is no barrier to cities. You don't need to hire people from your own cities where your offices are. You are now free to hire from anywhere, um, and that has also had led to a lot of inclusivity where people from south is working with people from north, and an amazing inclusivity has been seen. Difference of opinions brings a lot of learnings and thought processes. I think that's an amazing change that I have seen post pandemic. Um, pe- People have also adopted the new culture of async communication rather than those 9 to 5 jobs. They love doing async communication. They can do their own work, be with family, and still be equally productive. And of course, the technology adoption has been so profound that everyone, even the individual, is now trying to automate the redundant work that they are doing and be more productive in the areas that they want to be. I think technology is obviously reshaping the remote world and of course the workspace in the remote. Um, the generative AI has just accelerated the adoption of AI. We all are seeing that AI is of course helping us to automate things, to make our decisions faster, and helping humans to make better and faster decisions using the AI, using the data. But I think in remote Web3 technologies have seen an amazing adoption. Meta, blockchain, blockchain brings a lot of reliability on the information being shared, data. Um, any technologies that has helped in virtual collaboration, digital documentation, or communication uh, has an edge post pandemic or in a remote. Um, we have seen an amazing growth in data privacy and security, where we see that there is a lot of revolution happening in the way data is being secured, and the data privacy concerns are being solved. And the era of edge computing, where you see the processing of data, the speed at which data being processed has been profound now. Yeah, so I think these are some areas which I see technology has been adding a lot of values. Um, Remote working, I think we all have seen in 3 years of COVID, and we are still seeing them. Hybrid working was still there before COVID, I would say, which was either termed as hybrid working or flexible working. Flexible working has been more prominent nowadays in the hybrid. Um, Millennials are super excited about this idea of they being able to travel all the world around and still keep working. So I think the trends that we see is that people can not just collaborate with their team colleagues, maybe their office colleagues that they are sitting into. They can collaborate with anybody in the organization anywhere with the remote and hybrid working style that organizations are adopting. So these are three major trends that we see: flexible working, where they allow people to work in any time zone and any time that they work with. They are allowed to work either from home, or they are uh, allowed to work either in office, depending on the policies and stuff. Hybrid, more or less similar to that, but it has fixed working hours. Remote is like absolute freedom for people and organization both. Imagine a person sitting in South Delhi is traveling the entire south of India, meeting some colleagues in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, in different offices, working with them for a couple of days, and then able to get that leisure of traveling the entire south, coming back again, Delhi. It's such an energy, such an bond. I think this kind of trends are really profound, and I see a lot of value into it. Workations, uh, Indian culture doesn't have a long leaves kind of planning. Usually we have Diwali and those kind of leaves, but Western culture usually plan their annual leaves which are longer, and they tend to travel completely out of the work. They come back again with a reset mindset, or with kind of that enthusiasm and energy. And I see that the similar kind of thing has given this kind of trends a very easy nudge. Workations are being arranged, people come together, enjoy, um, get refreshed, meditate together, and then come back to the work again with full energy and enthusiasm. Yeah, these are some async way of working and bringing mental peace together, uh, which are some trends which are amazing in remote working and hybrid working, I see. Oh, yes, absolutely. I think we in our organization usually say remote is a responsibility at both the side, for the organization as well as for every employees who are working in remote. Um, Being remote ready or remote readiness is also a skill for every employee. Uh, Not everybody can be successful in remote, that's for sure. Um, you have to have an ownership as one of the key attribute or skill sets that you need to possess to be successful in remote. Um, Most of you might have read a book, Atomic Habits. Um, it's about taking the ownership of you being better every day. There's no one, just like in office culture, there's no one to say you that you're supposed to do this. There's no one to give you the task. It's you who are the owner of a problem that you are solving collaboratively with your colleague, and you have to own that problem and solve that problem. So I'd say being proactive, employee have to be very curious, they have to be expressive, they have to be curious and stay having an edge on the latest technologies and trends. They have to be constant learning, um, and they should have an attitude to keep challenging yourself to be better every day. That's what I feel is more kind of a remote readiness skill set that every employee should have when they're working in remote. While same for organization, I think top-down communication has become very imperative nowadays, especially in remote. And the frequency at which it happens has to be much higher than it used to happen in office. Um, Purpose-driven communication very much required. I would say those organizations who are driven by a purpose, who are driven by solving a particular challenge, can easily survive in remote. Um, there is difficulty, obviously some difficulties faced where there is difficulty to lead some purpose for any organization, which usually doesn't happen, but that's what has been observed so far. Outcome orientation against efforts is a trend that organizations are adopting nowadays to be successful in remote. Um The reliance on tech is mandate now. There is no option to it. Be it an industry you are in, um, and with generative AI, I think there is no scope for any industry. And data-driven approach. Data has become a new currency of trust, I would say. Earlier, a trust used to happen between two people with a very kind of bonding. They used bonding was one of the trust currency earlier. But these days, I think with remote data is one of that currency that builds a trust a lot. I think these are some key aspects which employer and organization must consider when they embrace remote working. We are seeing a big shift from 3 years back, and now most of the offices are calling uh, people in their office nowadays, and that's not happening just in India, even worldwide. I see this is also a trend for some period of time, and again the flexible or hybrid work and remote work would have that pick, or I would say a gradual growth over the period. I see there is a lot of value in remote and hybrid or flexible work there. So in India, I would say there are two set of organization that would prevail over the period, at least in near future and in long term. Um, Either they will be in office. Now, this in office bunch organization would have manager driven hybrid or flexible culture. So it will be more dependent on the managers whether they are flexible to have their team or their players to go hybrid or go flexible or not. And then there would be a remote organization. So these two are the two type of organization I see, or workplace I see prevailing very much in India. Uh, those, as I said, those organizations who know how to succeed in remote will stay remote. Um, Young organization who are purpose driven would be inclined more towards it being remote, uh, and the organization who has already grown by some piece of some kind of large organization would tend to have their people in office, but with certainty of hybrid and flexible kind of environment. After certain time, let's say 1.5 or 2 years, you'll see again a shift in office culture where a lot of employees would be given a liberty of working remotely and with flexibility for sure.